Hi, and welcome to the Art Corner. We're back. Today we're going to do an acrylic painting of a cow. They're real popular right now. Contemporary cows are. I prefer a more impressionistic version of this farm animal. So that's what we're going to do today. Thank you for joining us. I've already got it sketched just to save a little bit of time, but I don't know if you remember or not what we do after we sketch, but you want to get some hairspray. And you want to spray your pencil lines very lightly so that when you start with your water and acrylic paint, your lines don't go away. So I'm going to let that dry just a few seconds, and we're going to start background first. Always when you're doing a painting, you want to go from back to front. That way if you mess up, you can just redo your background, redo your lines. And if you'll notice, this little fella is kind of in the snow. It's a little early for that, but we're going to give us a little bit of holiday spirit with this cow. I've got my water and my paper plate with my paint on it, so I'm going to start background first. Get a bigger brush. Here we go. Get up here and just do a light white wash up at the top. These things sell like crazy. I don't know what the deal is, but cows are really, really popular right now with purple and pink on them and splatter marks, but this one won't be that way. See, it just takes that hairspray just a few minutes to dry, not long at all. Okay. Now down here, you can see you've got a little bit of a green, black, muddled, very background, and that's what we want. This is not going to be a in-your-face colorful painting. It's just going to be kind of muddled. So I'm going to get my green and my black, my large brush. You can even use a contractor's brush with some of this background work. I recommend a Purdy contractor's brush. Just muddle some of this in. I love acrylic paint, but it dries very quickly, so you've got to work kind of fast. So just hang on. My horizon is right here. So I'll bring my paint down. I'm adding white to make some of this green go away. I'm going to be using quite a bit of white today. Muddling is fun. You can't mess up when you muddle. Just dipping it in the green and black, making him look like there might be a snowy forest behind him. Getting it on the carpet and the walls in here in the studio. All right, squirt some more white out. Sometimes the paint will settle in your jars, so you might need to shake them up to get it all out. And I happen to leave mine in the back of my car, which is not good. They freeze, etc. Been doing this a long time, and I have to be a little more careful. I get a little careless in my old age. Okay, more white. I'm going to let that dry, and I will be going over some of that in a minute. Let me get up here, have some of that go away. See that glob up there? That's from keeping it in the back of your car. Don't do that. You should have seen my grandfather's car. He was a mechanic. It was awful. A little more water. Make this flow. Cover canvas. And you know what? If canvas shows through, that's okay. It's kind of cool with these contemporary paintings to show a little canvas. All right, now I am going to go back over some of this in a minute. Let's let this dry. I'm going to go ahead and start my color on my cow. I'm going to change palettes and I'll bring this one back in a minute. This cow is real light colored, and I'll tell you the main thing with any painting are eyes and skies. So we want to make sure we get his eyes really well. But before that, let me get my colors on my palette. Kind of a sienna or a red brown. Always have burnt umber, always on hand. Here's another sienna. Burnt umber is good, or nutmeg brown for anything. Okay, a little bit of black for the inside of his ears and his eyes. These are not the highest quality acrylics in the world you can buy, but they'll do for this. Okay, I think we're good. Let me get my brush. Now I prefer the little, and I've told you this before, I prefer the little nylon Sharpie brushes. You can use the points, and usually they stay sharp longer than your bristle brushes. They work really well, and I'm going to use them for this painting. Okay, I've got this one. You can tell I've used him quite a bit, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the dark first. So I think I'm going to start with the inside of this fella's ears. And don't be afraid of using dark. As a matter of fact, your values are so important to making a painting rich and deep. If you are chicken on your white and your black, you're just not going to get a very deep painting at all. You can tell the more seasoned artists from the ones that are not, because they are not afraid of black and white. It's just paint. You are not tattooing this on your arm. You can always go over it. Getting my dark areas first. Now, let's get Mr. White back in the program. And I am kind of messy, I apologize. Okay. I'm going to start mixing just a little bit of my sienna with the white and sort of outline him where his ears are. I went ahead and, for the sake of time, sketched him before we got here today. But you just draw what you see, if you agree with it or not. It's there. And one way you can check your lines is compare where his eye is to his ear, where his eyes are to his nose. Just compare where things are together, and that'll help you place them in the right spot. A lot of artists will use a T-bar to measure. Don't cheat, don't trace, don't graph. I don't recommend it. You should learn how to do it by just looking at it. That way you can draw on the spot. You don't have to have so much equipment. Okay. Getting his ears formed here. Now, like I said, I want him to be contemporary. So we are not going to go for full-blown realism. I want him to be loose and modern. That's what's selling right now. That's what is real popular. All the magazines are showing major contemporary everywhere. But anybody can get a paintbrush and splatter it on a canvas. You need to be set apart as an artist and make sure that they see you've got a little ability. Here we go. Just loose lines, loose lines. Get back in here, that ear, and deepen it up just a little bit. And actually, there might even be a little blue in his ear. That could be superimposed from the camera, I'm not sure. But we're going to go keep him black right in here. One good thing about a neutral cow, he'll go in any decor. You don't have to worry about having purple curtains for him to match. Cows are cool for kitchens, or a little boy's room, or a den. Okay. While my brush is wet with this dark, let's go ahead and work on his nose just a little bit. Here's the little holes. He's a little softer up here. I keep just going back and forth and muddling my brush, 2 or 3 puddles of color at the same time. Here's his mouth. Now while that's drying a little bit, I'm going to go right up here and we're going to get some, see this dark in the hair on his head. We want to get that dark on there first. Bring it all the way down. He's got some major roots going on here. This cow needs to get his hair done. All right. Now I'm doing this first because once again it's background. And then we'll go on top of this with the light color and you'll see this and it will give him depth. Okay? Let's let this dry right in here. Let's let this dry. It kind of goes over all the way down his nose. And this kind of raises his nose and makes his head shape. Now don't freak out, he looks funny and is going to for a little while. Right now he looks like an alien cow. Have your napkin right beside your plate so that you don't splatter and you can get rid of the excess water that's on your brush.